Hi, this is Dr. Gordo. Welcome to the Raven and the Writing Desk. Today, we are talking about clauses. What do I need to know about clauses? First of all, what is this? It's a technical term, and unless you're actually teaching English or really trying to understand the ins and outs of the language, this is really not a video you're going to need. But if you find yourself teaching English or you just simply want to know more about what clauses are, well, you're in the right spot. A clause, simply put, is a subject and a finite verb. Clauses form the foundations for compound and complex sentences. So obviously, we need to explain what that's all about. This will be some review, but what is a subject? A subject in a sentence is the point that's being made. It can be implicit or explicit, as in explicit. It's right there on the page. You can point to the dog's house. Okay, what's the subject? The subject is the dog. It's right there. Implicit means that you have to do a little bit of thinking about exactly what the subject is. For example, if I was to give you the command, clean this up, you are actually the subject of the sentence. You are the one who's going to be doing the cleaning up, even though there was no actual reference to you in the sentence. So it's getting a little bit more in depth than I wanted to get into, but the subject is going to have a noun. Person, place, or thing, or possibly a pronoun, which is a word that replaces a noun. Coming up next, there is the predicate. What's a subject doing? Whereas the subject can be implicit or explicit, the predicate is going to be explicit. It's going to be clear what is happening to or with the subject. In this case, we're talking specifically about finite verbs. A finite verb is a fancy way of saying a regular old verb. It's not playing any tricks. It's not acting like it's a noun. The verb is being a verb. For example, the verb to play. He plays, is playing, he played. These are all examples of the finite verb. So let's take a look at this in action. The excited gamer squeezed around the computer screen. So where is the subject? The excited gamers. That is who this idea is about. And what are the gamers doing? What's happening with them? They're squeezed around the computer screen. So, highlighted in red, you've got the subject. Highlighted in blue, we've got the predicate. And so, bring it all together, and we have a clause. It's that simple. Now, technically, this is an independent clause, so I'll squeeze that in there. Because yes, there are different kinds of clauses. But to recap, there are different kinds of clauses. Simply put, a clause is a subject and a predicate. Why do we want clauses? They allow for the creation of complex and compound sentences. And as I said right up front, that unless you're actually teaching this, it's not that important to know. If you are a writer and you want your writing to get better, if your sentences are communicating clear ideas, don't worry too much about identifying the clause. And for teachers of English who would like to know all about the different kinds of clauses, I have a video on the different kinds of clauses. And also, if we're going to talk about finite verbs, we might as well talk about all the other kinds of verbs. And so there's a video called Verbs Galore you can check out. And in the meantime, of course, like, subscribe, and if you have any questions about any of this content, please put it down there in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.